have Filipinos' preferences for vehicles evolved amid the pandemic, and how are automotive distributors adapting to these changes? Inchcape PLC Group Chief Executive Officer Duncan Tait joins us from Tokyo. Duncan, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Manchu, and thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be with you.
Well, how is the country's automotive industry doing over 3 years into COVID-19? Are consumers more eager than ever to buy vehicles?
Well, you saw in the first half of the year, over 200,000 new vehicles were bought in the Philippines. That's up over 11% year over year. We think that'll continue into the second half. And as we look into 2024, we see continued growth in the Philippines, and I think beyond that also.
Okay, but when it comes to preferences, how has the Filipino car users' preferences changed over the pandemic? What features do they look for now when buying cars?
Look, I think if I see what's going on in the Philippines, it reminds me, just like our businesses, frankly, in Latin and Central America, what we see going on in other parts of Asia, Africa, and Europe, which, of course, there's more drivetrains available now. People are looking more at EV in hybrid technologies as well as traditional gasoline engines. And our entry into the Philippines, because, you know, we've been in the Philippines, don't forget, for over 2 years. This is not just a recent thing for us, because we've been investing in our digital and data centers in the Philippines. We employ over 600 cybersecurity, user experience, machine learning people in the Philippines that are developing technologies for our business around the world. But fundamentally, what's going on is people are looking for more choice. And our job in the Philippines market is to be able to serve consumers, not just at the very high end, where we've been with Mercedes, Stellantis, and Jaguar Land Rover over the last few years, but we want to be able to serve consumers in the Philippines at the mass market and in the middle and at the top market. We think it's a fantastic place for us to be.
Well, you mentioned earlier that, you know, EVs or electric vehicles are making waves these days, and the same holds true here in the Philippines. Am I correct?
You are absolutely right.
What do you think is driving?
Penetration levels vary around the world,
okay,
but we are seeing a bigger uptake in the Philippines. It's not like you see in northeastern Europe, where new vehicle sales for EV are like 80% of all vehicles sold are pure EV. So it's not quite at those levels yet, of course. We need to make sure that these vehicles are affordable for people and that they're safe to use in everyday life in terms of their range for people in the market. So we have a challenge to make sure that we're getting vehicles into the market at the right price point for consumers. But look, the move to EV is absolutely unstoppable. And we are positioning ourselves in Inchcape as the leaders in introducing electric vehicles and other drivetrains like hydrogen and hybrid into the markets that we run.
What do you think is the biggest factor that's holding back Filipinos, or more interest from Filipinos with regards to electric vehicles?
Look, I think the Philippines, again, is the same as what we see around the world, where you have, if you don't have a really robust charging infrastructure, public charging infrastructure and home charging, and government incentives to start, then EV penetration starts at the very top end of the market. The people who are paying hundreds of thousands of dollars for a vehicle, and very slowly moves through society into more of the mass market. So the fundamental things that hold back or accelerate EV penetration tend to be in the early phases: incentives and, of course, a public charging infrastructure.
Well, you know, it's a given that Filipinos are also struggling with rising prices of goods at present. How is Inchcape attracting automotive buyers in the Philippines?
Look, we have a great offer. If you look at our 3 automotive manufacturing partners that we bought as part of our joint venture with the CATS group of companies, we have Mercedes, we have Jaguar Land Rover, and we have Stellantis. We've just announced a deal with Changan. So what we're doing across those brands, and Changan is more of a mass market play for us, is we're positioning vehicles at the right price points, changing the specification to make sure that they're affordable for consumers, and of course putting in place the right finance and insurance products that enable consumers in the Philippines to have the right vehicles for them. It's a growing market. And I think we are doing really, really well in the Philippines, and I hope we're going to continue to grow.
You mentioned, introducing all of these brands at a good price point, but how is Inchcape dealing with high input costs and ensuring, that these aren't passed on too much to customers?
Well, look, inflation and higher interest rates is a global issue. You can see that you can see the United States, Europe, in Latin, Central America, everywhere that Inchcape operates. Look, it's our job to make sure that we're on top of running a really efficient cost base, so that we're not increasing the cost of vehicles for our consumers. We're using our digital technologies to really make sure that we're optimizing our costs, and also at the same time to make sure that we understand what consumers want, because we're looking at consumer behavior every day with the technologies and the data we have. Now, of course, prices of vehicles have gone up. Look, there's been a semiconductor challenge over the last few years, which has put vehicle prices up. We've seen inflation in the input costs to our automotive partners. And then our reaction to that is to make sure that we're specifying vehicles at the right price points, sometimes deleting features to make things really, really cost effective, and being very focused on adding features to vehicles which customers really, really want and makes a difference to their lives and the way they experience the vehicles.
Well, you opened a digital delivery center in the Philippines back in 2021.
Yeah.
How has this helped provide more job opportunities for Filipinos?
Look, though, that team of people, and I was with them last week in the Philippines. I was in the Philippines for 4 days last week. And I spent a good half of the time with our colleagues in our digital delivery center. Those people, this is not a cost labor arbitrage play for us. We are in the Philippines because we get very high quality, really intelligent, hardworking people. And the technologies they're developing are our online virtual showroom that we call the Digital Experience Platform, that is used right throughout the world in over 40 markets for us. And they're working on machine learning algorithms to help improve customer experience, to reduce the cost inside the company, and make us a world-beating distribution company that we are, and enabling our growth. So they're doing great things for consumers, great things for how we run the company, and our OEM partners really value what we're doing. So we started off with just a few hundred. Today it's over 600. I'm hoping we're going to be over 700 people in our digital delivery center in the Philippines over the coming months. It's an important global asset for Inchcape, and it's full of great people.
All right. And very quickly, speaking of growth, what is your business outlook for the Philippines for the rest of 2023, especially as the holiday season nears?
Look, we've had a great first half, or our CATS group of partners have had in the first half. We think we're going to continue to grow. We've just added Chang'an into the mix of automotive partners we have in the marketplace. I would like us to add more, although probably now not the time to say who that might be. But I think we'll grow into the second half, and we should be growing into 2024 and beyond. We're committed to the Philippines. It's a great market. And we're not just selling cars in the market, we're also investing heavily in our digital delivery centers.
All right. Thank you very much for joining us. Inchcape PLC Group Chief Executive Officer Duncan Tait from Tokyo.